How's it going, Jet?
Good, how are you?
What you got the gun for?
Why I got the gun? What you got the gun for?
Because I'm authorized.
Alright, well, I'm authorized to
Get down on the ground.
Get on the ground.
Get down on the ground.
You're gonna have to shoot me, man.
Alright, it's July the 20th, the year 2017. This is Rudy Davis. I'm about to read a document called Mertens Deposition in the matter of State of Missouri versus Jeffrey R. Winehouse, Scott Mertens. It was taken June the 6th of 2013, Franklin County, Missouri, number 12AB-CR02409-01. Court Reporting Associates, P.O. Box 440014, Brentwood, Missouri 63144, phone 314-275-4160. This is the deposition of Scott Mertens taken on behalf of the defendant, June the 6th, 2013. Deposition of Scott Mertens taken on behalf of the defendant on the 6th day of June 2013 between the hours of 8 o'clock in the forenoon and 6 o'clock in the afternoon of that day. It is in the offices of Franklin County Prosecuting Office. I'm going to zoom in just a bit. It's a little bit hard to read. Franklin County Prosecuting Attorney's Office, 15 South Church Street, Union, Missouri, before Jane M. R. Rich, a Missouri Certified Court Reporter, license number 411. The plaintiff was represented by Mr. Robert M. Parks II, Franklin County Prosecuting Attorney, 15 South Church, Room 204, Union, Missouri 63084. The defendant was represented by Mr. Hugh Eastwood, Attorney at Law, 7777 Bonham, Suite 1603, Clayton, Missouri 63105. Scott Mertens, of lawful age, having been duly sworn to testify the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, deposes and says on behalf of the defendant as follows. Direct examination. Questions by Mr. Eastwood. Question. Can you state your full name for the record, sir? My name is Scott Edward Mertens, and that's spelled M-E-R-T-E-N-S. Question. And you are with the Missouri State Highway Patrol? Answer. That is correct. Okay. And where are you stationed? What troop are you with? Answer. I'm out of the general headquarters. Question. And where is that? Answer. In Jefferson City, but I'm stationed in Rolla, Missouri. Question. And what troop letter is that? Answer. It's, well, I'm under a division. Question. Okay. Answer. I'm out of the general headquarters, but I'm also under the Division of Drug and Crime Control. Question. Are you affiliated in some way with Troop I? Answer. I am assigned to the troop. It's either Troop I or Troop 1 area through Jeff City. Question. And how old of a man are you, sir? Answer. I'm 43. Question. Okay, and what is your DSN or badge number? Answer. My badge number is 567. Question. And what is the highest level of education you have achieved? Answer. I have a bachelor's of science. Question. Okay, where is that from? Answer. Drury University. Question. Okay, and have you served in the military? Answer. No, I have not. Question. Okay, and how long have you been employed with the Missouri State Highway Patrol? Answer. Since January 1st of 1996. Question. Okay, and have you, and I have to ask you these questions, unfortunately, have you ever been formally disciplined, reprimanded? Answer. No. Question. Okay, and have you ever been convicted of a crime? Answer. Well, you had a question there on my discipline. Question. You were looking up, is there something? Answer. Well, we have different types of discipline, whether it's counseling report or whether it's stuff like that, but I had a counseling report for an accident one time where I wasn't really an accident, but I had gone down the median and done some damage to the car. Question. So you got written up for? Answer. Well, it was written counseling report, but they're not really considered reprimand. I don't believe so. Question. And when was that? Answer. You're talking like 10, 11 years ago probably? Question. Okay, long time ago. Answer. Yes. Question. Okay, and have you ever been convicted of a crime? Answer. No, I have not. Question. Okay, and have you ever been party to civil litigation? Answer. No, I have not. Okay, never been sued? Answer. No, I have not. Question. Never sued anyone? And are you competent and of sound mind and body to testify here today? Answer. I am. Question. You're not too tired? No. Answer. No, I am not. Question. Okay. What did you review in order to, what documents or other things did you review in order to prepare for today? Answer. I listened to my recorded interview and I've read partial things in the blue book here. Question. Okay, the blue book, what is that? Answer. That is an investigation of the incident involving Jeffrey Winehouse on September 11th. Question. This is the investigation that was performed by Perry Smith and others. Answer. That is correct. Question. Okay, and who did you talk to in order to prepare for today? Answer. I've talked to the prosecutor. Question. Mr. Parks. Answer. Yes. Okay, and did you review either an audio or a video recording of the incident itself? Answer, with Mr. Parks, or just question, just in preparation for today? Answer, I've seen it in audio or listened to an audio, and I've seen a video. Question, okay. Answer, but not in preparation for today, I've just reviewed them. Question, in the past? Answer, that is correct. Question, okay, and have you been trained in the use of force by the Missouri State Highway Patrol? Answer, yes, I have. Question, okay, can you tell me a little bit about your training? Answer, I am a defense tactics instructor, and I've also been trained through the academy and continuing education throughout the years. Question, you've been trained in the continuum of force? Answer, we do not have a force continuum. Question, you do not? Answer, no. Question, okay, why is that? Answer, they have taken that out. That is outdated. Question, okay. Answer, type. Their reasoning you would have to ask them. Question, is there a specific manual or guide? Well, you say they take it out. They took it out of the specific manual. Answer, our general orders. Question, your general orders. Answer, yes. Question, and is that the Bible, so to speak, of your training? Answer, I wouldn't call it a Bible, but I would call it our general orders. Question, okay, and when you are you trained on how to confront someone who is armed? Answer, yes. Question, and what are you trained to do when you confront someone who is armed? Answer, that's a pretty general question. I guess I'm not really understanding what you're asking me. Question, how are you trained? Are you trained to escalate or de-escalate the threat? Answer, I'm trying to use the force that is necessary, to whether it's just my mere presence or anything above that, but I'm trained to either diffuse the situation, or I don't know how to explain it. Question, okay. Answer, because I guess I'm not sure exactly what you're asking. Question, well, my question, and perhaps you've answered it there, is that generally speaking, you're trained to diffuse a situation, not to escalate a situation. Answer, that is correct. Question, okay, and does the threat level to you automatically go up just because someone is carrying a firearm? Answer, no. Oh, question, okay. I want to turn the sort of how this all began, so to speak, which I believe is a complaint by Judge Kelly Parker from Crawford County about a video made by my client, Jeff Winehouse, around mid-August of 2012. Have you seen the video, the YouTube video that was the subject of that complaint? Answer, I have seen that, but it's been a long time. Question, okay, did you see the version with captions or without captions? Answer, I would say probably both. Question, okay, did you investigate that video together with Sergeant Folsom? Answer, no, I did not. Question, Sergeant Folsom previously testified here today about his involvement in that investigation. Were you less involved in that investigation? Answer, yes. Question, okay, did you meet with Judge Parker? Answer, no, I did not. Question, did you meet with Lieutenant Satterfield? Answer, no, I did not. Question, okay, were you with Sergeant Folsom on the first visit to Jeff Winehouse's house? Answer, on August 22nd, yes. Question, okay, and what was the purpose of that visit? Answer, to contact Mr. Winehouse and basically determine what his intentions were pertaining to the video. Question, okay, and what happened when you got to the house that day? Answer, we arrived, we located the residence, we weren't sure which resident was his. The first resident we knocked on, Mr. Winehouse did answer the door. He immediately closed the door behind him as he came out to say, he said, I can help you, gentlemen. And we explained he said, can I help you, gentlemen? And we explained who we are and why we were there. And Sergeant Folsom asked why his walk was surrounded by bushes. So Sergeant Folsom asked, I believe, if we could go down into the yard area so we weren't so confined in one little small area. Question, okay, and when you went down, what did you talk about? Answer, basically his intentions on the video. Question, what did you determine his intentions to be? Answer, Mr. Winehouse claimed that he was a peaceable man, offered to give us a bulletin that he writes, and walked over to his truck to give us the bulletin. Question, okay, and was that the end of it? Did you just part ways and separately go about your business? Answer, no, we continued to talk about different things. Mr. Winehouse shared a lot of his views and the things like that of different things. I think Sergeant Folsom asked him or explained that his video didn't seem to be peaceable video, that a layman would look at it and say, I think Mr. Winehouse made the comment of what was the penalty for treason when they were talking about going in and executing people. He said that you'll be tried and executed, something to that effect in the video. And so he asked him about that. Question, okay, and were you concerned at the time that Mr. Winehouse was breaking any laws? Answer, yes. Question, okay, why? Tell me about that. Answer, that's why we were there. Question, okay, but I mean in terms of the video, But I mean, at the meeting, at the time of the meeting, were you concerned by Mr. Winehouse's statements, demeanor, or behavior that he was doing anything unlawful? Answer, well, if you look at the treason part of it, and I even asked Mr. Winehouse, I said, he explained what it was, and I said, well, how are they committing treason? And he said, well, they've perjured themselves, and then I explained, I said, well, perjury is different than treason. They have two different penalties, and just because someone perjures themselves doesn't mean they committed treason. But so as a concern for him saying or being breaking the law right at that time, no, we were more there to investigate the original thing of the video. Question, so you weren't going to arrest him at that point? Answer, no. Question, at that point for threatening Judge Parker or anyone else? Answer, no. Question, okay, and did you then just leave the house and go about the rest of your day? Answer, no. Question, okay, why not? Answer, Sergeant Folsom, why he was closer to Winehouse explained to Mr. Winehouse that he smelled the odor of marijuana whenever he exited the residence, and then also on his person, and told Mr. Winehouse that he was going to have to secure the residence to get a warrant. Question, could you smell the pot or not? Answer, I did not. Question, and what did you do then? Did you stay at the residence or did you leave with Sergeant Folsom? Answer, I stayed and secured the residence with another officer. Question, did you allow Mr. Winehouse back in his house? Answer, no, we did not. Question, and why was that? Answer, to protect anything that was in there of evidentiary value. Question, you were worried he might try to flush it down the toilet or something? Answer, anything that could be destroyed. Question, is that standard procedure pretty much? Answer, that is standard procedure. Question, were you involved in the application for the warrant, or were you just more securing the residence while Sergeant Folsom went and obtained the warrant? Answer, I just secured the residence. Question, okay, so Sergeant Folsom comes back with a warrant, is that correct? Answer, yes. Question, and what was the warrant for? Answer, I did not read the warrant. Question, okay, did you participate in the search? Answer, yes, I did. Question, okay, what did you search for? Answer, we searched for the marijuana. Question, okay. Answer, and I think the warrant also allowed to search for computers is what I was explained, and so we also searched for the computers and any computer camera equipment, stuff like that. Question, and when you searched the house, did you only search certain areas of the house, or did you search the entire house? Answer, we searched every room, but we were in different places, so I didn't search the entire house, so I can't say what the other people did that were in the house. Question, did you only search things that were in plain view, or did you open drawers and things to that effect? Answer, we would open drawers, yes. Question, and what did you find of interest? Answer, located a brown paper bag that contained a green leafy substance that was determined to be marijuana. Sergeant Folsom searched in an area where his backdrop was that he used in the videos and found, I believe it was some morphine and some other things that were of interest, of paraphernalia type things, and then of course the computers and cameras were right there and another set of them upstairs. Question, and I'm going to show you a couple of pictures here. Answer, okay. Question, these have already been marked as Exhibit 1, and perhaps to make it easier for you, I'm not going to show you the same picture in color on my laptop. It's a little brighter. Answer, okay. Question, do you recognize this? Answer, yes I do. Question, and what is that? Answer, that is a nightstand that is next to the bed in what I consider the master bedroom. Question, okay. Answer, of the residence. Okay, I'm going to stop here on the top of page 17 and we'll come back later. Alright, picking up at the top of page 17. And do you recognize the firearm holster in there? Answer, yes, in the open drawer. Question, do you know who those belong to? Answer, yours had gone off. Question, screensaver. Do you know who that firearm and holster belongs to? Answer, we found a receipt and I believe it was to a Judy. I do not know how to. Q. Question, Croft. Answer, yes, I do not know how to say the name. It starts with a K. Question, Miss Winehouse. Answer, his wife is how he identified her. Question, okay, and was the clip, are you familiar with this type of holster? Answer, I am not familiar with this type of holster. Question, do you know if this is the gun and the holster that was later used at the incident at the MFA station? Answer, it is similar, but to say that it is the exact same gun, I cannot. Question, okay, do you know if the clip on this holster can be reversed or changed so it can be worn on either the right side or the left-hand side of the body? Answer, I do not know that. Question, okay, I am not going to ask you to speculate, okay, at any time. Answer, okay. Question, If you know, you know, and if you don't, you don't, and that's fine. So were you aware that after your search of the house that my client went on to make additional YouTube videos? Answer, yes. Question, and to your knowledge, did any of them single out your partner, Sergeant Folsom? Answer, yes they did. Question, and to your knowledge, did Sergeant Folsom receive personal emails and other communications from my client? Answer, I believe he did. Question, okay. Answer, I cannot say that for sure, but I believe he did. Question, to your knowledge, were some of them threatening? Answer, I do not recall. Question, okay, did your partner, did Sergeant Henry Folsom, did Sergeant Folsom ever make statements to you, I feel threatened by Jeff Winehouse, or words to that effect? Answer, I do not recall. Question, do you ever feel personally threatened? Did you ever feel personally threatened by Jeff Winehouse? Answer, no. Mr. Winehouse actually indicated that in one of his podcasts where he contacted somebody in our organization, explained that he thought I was very professional. Question, okay, were you ever aware of threats by Mr. Winehouse to your partner, Sergeant Folsom, that he should have shot, Mr. Winehouse should have shot Sergeant Folsom in the head, or words to that effect? Answer, I'm not sure if he said I should have shot him in the head. I think it was more I could have shot him in the head in the video. I do remember that. Because Sergeant, I believe Sergeant Folsom thought I was done writing the search warrant return, and we were in two different areas of the property, so when he released the property to Mr. Winehouse, he thought we were ready to go, but I still had to fill out a couple of lines on the return, I believe it was, and of course immediately I thought, oh, there's a gun in there. But he had been pretty docile that day, and him and I did not have a problem at that point. I didn't think him and Sergeant Folsom had a major problem, but after seeing the video I realized he was more upset than I had realized. Question, do you think he was under the influence of anything on the day you visited his house? Answer, I do not recall exactly what my thoughts of him were at that time. Question, okay, you didn't think he was stoned or on pot? Answer, I'm not sure. In fact, I think one of the guys that came to help with the security made a comment that he was under the influence of something. And I used to be a drug recognition expert, but I just did not pay attention. I was more worried about security. He continually wanted to get back in the truck to light cigarettes and things like that, so I was more worried about personal security and security for the other officer that was there than I was really analyzing his level of intoxication. Or question, sure. Answer, or lack of. Question, do you have concerns about the gun on the day you searched the house? Answer, you'll have to explain that question. Question, well, do you have concerns about your safety if there was a gun? Answer, when we were in the house, I did not, because we were not in the house and no one else was. Prior to getting into the house, I did not know there was a gun in there. Question, do you know who else lives in the house? Answer, I believe it was a son possibly, and the lady he identified as his wife. Question, do you know who brought the marijuana into the house? Answer, that I do not. Question, did Jeff or any of the other occupants of the house ever make any statements to you about who had brought the marijuana into the house? Answer, no. Oh, question, okay, I want to skip forward then to the incident of September 11th, 2012. Answer, yes. Question, my understanding is that you and your partner, Sergeant Folsom, were executing an arrest warrant on Jeff Winehouse that day. Is that correct? Answer, that is correct. Question, who issued the warrant? Do you know? Answer, the Franklin County Circuit Court, I believe. Question, okay, and you were involved in obtaining of that warrant? Answer, no, I was not. Question, okay. Answer, I was present, but I did not write the probable cause. I should clarify that. Question, who did write the probable cause? I do believe it was Sergeant Folsom. Question, and who did you notify about the warrant after you obtained it? Answer, I did not notify anyone. Question, do you know if your partner, Sergeant Folsom, notified anyone? Answer, yes, I believe he notified probably our staff. B guess, and that's speculation, but also the FBI, and I believe it was the Franklin County Sheriff's Department. Question, is it normal practice to notify the sheriff, the county sheriff? Answer, just depends on the situation in the county. Question, okay, do you feel you have an obligation or a courtesy to notify the sheriff? Answer, I would say that depends upon the situation and the officer who's doing it. Question, do you know who you contacted at the sheriff's office in this instance? Answer, I did not contact anyone. Question, who did make contact with the officer? Answer, it would have been Sergeant Folsom, and I do not know who he spoke with. Question, okay, and how did you make contact with Jeff himself? Answer, I did not make contact with Jeff. Question, Sergeant Folsom did? Answer, yes. To your knowledge, did Jeff know that he was going to get arrested? Question, answer, you're asking me to speculate what Jeff thought? Question, no, I'm asking if you knew whether Jeff knew he was going to be arrested. Answer, if I knew if Jeff? Question, if Jeff had knowledge that he was going to be arrested? Answer, I do not know. Question, did you or your partner, did you make any statement to Jeff? I guess you didn't, strike that. Do you know if your partner made any statements to Jeff on the phone, stuff as, we need to bring you in to arrest you? Or, answer, no, he did not. Question, and in fact, you told your partner, told Jeff that the purpose of the meeting was for something else, didn't he? Answer, that is correct. Question, and what was that? Answer, to return his computer equipment. Question, okay, was that a ruse? Answer, yes it was. Question, and where did you arrange to meet Jeff, or where did your partner rather arrange to meet Jeff? Answer, he arranged to meet Winehouse at the MFA oil station en route. I think it's K King. K is in King. Question, and were you involved in the selection of that location? Answer, I do not recall. Question, okay, I know I went there to observe the location, but whether I was involved in the actual selection of it, I'm not sure. Question, why didn't you just have Jeff come into the highway patrol station? Answer, I don't know. Question, okay, why didn't you have him come in, say, the sheriff's department? Answer, I don't know. I'm going to stop on the page, top of page 25. Okay, picking up at the top of page 25. Question, okay, or why didn't you have him come in, say, the sheriff's department? Answer, I don't know. Question, okay, were you concerned about your safety at the MFA station? Answer, no, I was not. Question, okay, did you request backup? Answer, yes, we did. Question, okay, tell me about that. Who was your backup? Answer, and I will clarify that. I did not request backup. Sergeant Folsom requested backup. Question, okay, answer. It would have been 2 FBI agents from the Rolla office to field office, and then we also requested, or Sergeant Folsom also requested 2 marked patrol units, or 2 uniformed patrol units to also come to the area. Question, okay, did Sergeant Folsom also request the FBI agent? Answer, I'm sorry. Question, did Sergeant Folsom also request the FBI be involved? Answer, yes. Question, and why was that? Answer, we work closely with them on a lot of things. They had been kept abreast of the situation of the podcast and had prior knowledge of Mr. Winehouse. It was a logical choice. Question, there were no federal charges to your knowledge involved in this arrest, were there? Answer, no. Question, okay, did you wear a bullet-resistant vest? No, I did not. Question, okay, and why not? Answer, in the job I am assigned to as a criminal investigator, we're not required to wear them on a daily basis. Sergeant Folsom and I had discussed putting them on while we were waiting for Mr. Winehouse, and neither of us really had determined him to be a threat in that type of manner, so we had chose not to put our vest on. Question, were you concerned at the time that Jeff would bring along other people? Answer, yes. Question, and were you concerned that would elevate the potential threat level? Answer, yes. Question, okay, were you aware, you previously testified that Jeff had made threats personally against your partner, is that fair to say? Answer, that is fair to say. Question, is it normal procedure for a trooper who has been personally singled out to go and execute an arrest warrant on that person, on the person making the threat? Answer, in different situations, yes. Question, okay, well, and why would that be normal procedure? Answer, because the way you worded your question, and I'll give you an example, if I have an investigation where a trooper's been threatened by somebody, I'll go investigate it instead of the trooper. Since this was already an active investigation prior to Mr. Winehouse making the threat, Sergeant Folsom is the case agent. So in that case, usually the case would stay with the investigating officer. Question, were you concerned that the presence of Sergeant Folsom would provoke Jeff Winehouse? Answer, no, I was not. Question, okay, and did you know at the time whether Jeff was recording by audio, video, or both, and the meeting at the MFA station? Answer, no, I did not. Question, subsequent to the incident, you've since learned that he was recording. Answer, yes. Question, and had you ever reviewed those recordings in the past? Answer, yes. Question, tell me about where you and your partner parked to wait for Jeff. Answer, I believe if I have my directions right. Question, okay. Answer, I parked on the kind of the northwest end of the parking lot, kind of above the station there a little bit. Give me just a second. Got it. Whoops, dang it. What a nightmare. What a nightmare. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Okay. How many yards was it from the station? I do not know. Guesstimate it for me. I mean, just within 50, or was it 100? I'd say between 20 and 40. Question, okay, and where did the FBI agents park? Answer, once Mr. Winehouse had said that he was going to bring other people, we went ahead and had them stationed on the opposite side of the parking lot, so if there was other vehicles, they would have direct access to those vehicles to come up from behind and provide assistance with security and things like that. Question, did you have a clear, unobstructed view of the FBI agents? Answer, partially. Question, partially clear and obstructed? Answer, yes. Question, so what was the other part? Answer, we had a clear view of them, and then just prior to Mr. Winehouse getting there, a vehicle pulled in and blocked them. It was, I think it was a guttering, somebody working on the guttering, and had partially blocked them, and I think they were in the process of moving whenever Mr. Winehouse pulled in to have a better view. Question, okay, did the gutter people ask them to move the FBI agents? Ask them to move the FBI agents? Answer, I do not know that. Question, do you have, so there's you, there's the FBI agents, there's the gutter guys, there are 2 gutter guys. Answer, I do not recall. Question, okay, was there anyone else at the scene? Answer, I believe they've interviewed other witnesses, but I do not know. Question, were they outdoors or indoors? Do you know? Answer, I do not know. Question, do you have concerns that, for example, the gutter guys might be with Jeff? Answer, I did not, mainly because I think whenever we first went and looked at the station, I believe that the truck was there, if I remember correctly, so it did not cause me any alarm at the time. Give me just a second. Where are we at? Okay, question. Did you have concerns before Jeff's arrival that allies or friends of Jeff were lurking in the area somewhere? Answer, I was more concerned that he would just bring people with him, if that answers your question. Question, okay, it does, thank you. Answer, okay. Question, and then between your partner's contact with Jeff and Jeff's arrival at the station, how long was that about? How long did you wait? Answer, I don't know, 15 minutes maybe. Question, okay, and from the entrance to the station from Highway K to where you were parked, is that level? Or is that on an incline or a decline? Answer, if I recall correctly, I believe that was on a very slight decline where I parked going down to the store, if that makes sense. Question, so the store was uphill from where you were? Answer, no, the store would have been downhill from where I was. Question, so from the entrance to the parking lot to where you were was a slight incline. It was a slight uphill? Answer, if you're coming from the entrance to the parking lot to my vehicle, I believe it was a slight incline. Question, okay, so what happened once Jeff got to the situation? Tell me what he got to the station. Let's start with, what did you observe about his arrival? Answer, he was driving a green Subaru. Question, okay, and then what happened when he pulled into the station? Answer, when he pulled into the parking lot, I noticed Mr. Winehouse was taking his seatbelt off. I found that odd, and it kind of heightened my sense of awareness. And because usually we're taught that in the academy to make sure whenever we pull up to some place and we're going to get out, even on traffic stops, to make sure that you have that seatbelt ready. And I mean, it was identical to what we do, and it just caught me like, oh, that's not right. So, question, and it escalated the situation, is that fair to say? Answer, no, I would say it heightened my level of awareness. Give me just a second. That was page 6. We're going to do 7. Okay. Question, okay, and when Jeff drove into the station, what route did his car take before he came to a stop? His car came into the parking lot and he made a circle like he was going toward the, which would be that he's going toward the front of the store, perpendicular to the store, but almost to the side of the store, which he didn't reach all the way to the side of the store, but then made a complete circle around the parking lot and faced the same direction I was facing, but probably 20 to 30 feet away from my vehicle, and probably 15 to 20 feet from his front end versus my front end. His front end was probably 50 to 20 feet more forward than my vehicle. Question, did the way he parked escalate the situation? Answer, again, I would say that it heightened my sense of awareness of the situation. Question, why would that be specifically? Answer, because that gives him a tactical advantage over us. He parked his where he, especially me, because I'm on the side that where his car is, and Sergeant Folsom has cover on the other side with the engine block and things, as we're taught in the academy, but it definitely heightened my sense of awareness. Question, would the way he parked be reasonable if the purpose was to load computer equipment into the back of the Subaru? Answer, mere speculation, not really. Question, why would that be unreasonable? Answer, if I was going to unload heavy computers, which I think I carried the box today, so I know it's heavy and it's not a, I would have parked closer. If it was me, I would have parked maybe towards the back of the vehicle, not past the front of the vehicle. I would not have gone that far to do that. Question, but it would be reasonable to put these big heavy computers in the back of the Subaru, yes or no? Answer, I'm sorry. Give me just a second. I'm trying to do multiple things at the same time here. Question, it would be reasonable to put these big heavy computers into the back of the Subaru. Answer, yes, I would say it would be reasonable to do that, yes. Question, and what happened once Jeff came to a stop? Answer, Sergeant, well, as he was coming in, Sergeant Folsom and I exited the vehicle, and after that I lost sight of Jeff for a few moments, so I'm not sure how and when he got out of the vehicle. Question, when Jeff did get out of the vehicle, what did he do? Did he? Answer, I lost sight of him. Question, you lost sight of him? Answer, yes. Question, so how high was the Subaru? Answer, I did not measure it. Question, okay, but was it the height of a regular sedan or was it higher, such as like an SUV or truck? Answer, I believe it was a Forester, so it's more of a boxy and it's a little bit taller than what I would think the Subaru Outback is. So I'd say maybe if you're standing on level ground, maybe chest high, maybe a little bit somewhere in there, I would think. Question, Answer, the top of it. Question, okay, if Jeff was standing next to the car, could you see over the top of the car and see his head? Answer, if it was on level ground, but he would have been on the low side in that parking lot. Question, okay, did you talk to Jeff when he got out of the car? No. I was instructed to open the trunk. And question, who instructed you? Answer, Sergeant Folsom. Question, okay, did Sergeant Folsom talk to Jeff? Answer, yes. Question, and what did he say? Do you recall? Give me a second. Okay. Answer, well, after reviewing the watch video that Mr. Winehouse had, you can hear Sergeant Folsom say something, how you doing, Jeff, I believe, something like that. Question, what was the tone and cadence of Sergeant Folsom's speech? Answer, normal. Question, what was the tone and cadence of Jeff Winehouse's speech? Answer, I don't know his normal speech other than what I've talked to him in the past. But it didn't seem different at first. Question, objectively, was his speech agitated or was it more of kind of a slow, friendly banter level? Or answer, there wasn't time for friendly banter or even, and I couldn't say what, one way or the other, how his voice was. I'm not sure I understand. Question, okay, so Jeff gets out of the car, you can't see him, your partner starts talking to him. Your partner starts talking to him, what happens next? Answer, no, I didn't say I can't see him because I'm sure if I would have turned and looked, I could have seen him. Question, okay. Answer, but as we're getting out of the car, Sergeant Folsom, I had already shut my car door, and we had the windows were down, and Sergeant Folsom said, as we were getting out, he said, "Hey, pop the trunk to support the ruse. We're going to give the computers back." So I turned back around to pop the trunk to reach into there's a little trunk release up next to the headlights, so I reached in there, did that, and went around to the back of the trunk and lifted the trunk. But I don't know what he did from the time where I was told to go back to or to pop the trunk or to go back to the trunk. Question, do you know if Jeff stood still or if he was walking around once he had got out of the car? Well, answer, well, he would have had to walk because he was away from his vehicle whenever I turned. Question, okay, so to your knowledge, he did not stand still, or answer, with my knowledge, question, or you don't know. Answer, to my knowledge, he had to move away from his vehicle because he was not standing right next to his vehicle. Question, okay, and to your knowledge, when you say, okay, I'm going to stop at the top of page 37. Okay, top of page 37. Question, okay, and to your knowledge, when you say move away from the vehicle, do you mean he was walking towards Sergeant Folsom? Answer, he would have been from his vehicle, he would have been in the direction of Sergeant Folsom, yes. Hold on. He would have been, okay, question, perhaps taken steps forward, strike that, not perhaps, was taking steps towards him? Answer, I would assume so. Question, okay, did you see that? Answer, no. Question, okay, and at this point, was your awareness of the situation, to use your phrase, were you concerned about an escalation or of a threat level? Answer, I was aware of how he pulled in. I was aware of the seatbelt. I knew it heightened my level of awareness, but as soon as Sergeant Folsom told me to do that, my concentration became on the trunk to support that ruse because he's my supervisor, so I do what he tells me. So I went to do that, and as I'm opening the trunk, or after I've opened the trunk, or shortly in that time period, I hear Sergeant Folsom asking him about the gun on his side. Question, you heard the word gun? Answer, I don't know if he said gun, pistol, firearm. Question, sure. Answer, but something to that effect. Question, and what did your hearing that word, what reaction did that cause in you? Answer, well, immediately I turned and I saw Jeff Winehouse standing toward the back end and away from his vehicle, but not at the back end, but kind of away, but toward the back side of his vehicle, if that makes sense. Question, Answer, and immediately drew my weapon. I could hear them talking. Question, okay, let me stop you there. You drew your weapon. What position do you have when you drew your weapon? Answer, I'm sorry. What position were you holding your firearm once you drew your weapon? Answer, I believe I brought it to here, indicating. Question, so let the record reflect that the witness is holding his right hand at about his mid-chest level. Answer, almost to the pectoral. Question, the right pectoral? Answer, yes. Okay, hold on. Okay, give me a second. Okay, question. And was the gun pointing down to the ground in what your partner called a low ready, or was it pointed at Jeff Winehouse or something else? Answer, now low ready would be different than what I was doing. Question, okay. Answer, so low ready is where you have it down, putting down toward the ground. Mine was more of a to protect my weapon, basically in case something else should come out. I wasn't sure if anybody else was in the car. I was on SWAT team, and we did that a lot as we're going through buildings, because you don't want to have your gun out and come around the corner and somebody take your gun away from your hand. So I was here until I got to where I knew I was. I was in position, previously described, until I got to where I was going to. Question, and you say you saw Jeff Winehouse, and first of all, what did you see on Jeff Winehouse? Answer, I noticed he was wearing nice clothes, a tie, I believe, and I saw the holster. Question, okay, so where was the holster on Jeff? It wasn't on his hip, it was on his front side on the right. Question, okay, could you stand up, sir, please, if you don't mind? And could you point on your body where his holster was? Answer, it would be right here on his right side at the belt level. Question, so let the record reflect that the witness has pointed on the right side of his belt, just to the right of the belt buckle, but in front of the right hip of the bone. Answer, that is correct. Question, okay, and was this green holster we previously saw in the photograph or a holster that looked like that green holster? Answer, it was a similar holster to that green one. It could have been the same one, I do not know. Question, and you testified you're not familiar with this holster? Answer, I am not. Was the holster covered or uncovered? Question, was the holster covered or uncovered? Sorry, excuse me. Was the gun in the holster covered or uncovered? Answer, as I'm approaching, the gun is covered. Question, okay, and was the grip or butt of the gun, was it facing forward or back in cross draw type position or backward? Okay, I'm going to stop here at the top of page 41. Alright, picking up at the top of page 41. If I recall correctly, I do not know. Question, you don't know? Okay, and where was Jeff's right hand when you first looked over at him and saw this holster? A, drawn to his side as far as I can remember. Question, his right hand was down on his right hand side? Answer, I think he was standing there with his hands down to his side. Question, okay, and his left hand was also down at his side? Answer, I believe so, yes. Question, on his left hand on the left hand side, right hand on the right hand side? Answer, that is correct. Question, okay, was the right hand touching the gun of the holster? Answer, as I approached, he did touch the holster, yes. Question, okay, and what did you observe him do once he touched the holster? Answer, as I'm approaching, he grabs the flap of the holster and I see it be pulled down, and then he lets go of it, and I could see that it popped open and that he stuck his hand back down to his side. Question, okay, and so he pulled down the holster, pops open, and then where does he move his right hand next? Answer, he puts it down to his side. Question, touching the gun or no? Answer, no, he puts it down to the side and he gives us like a little cold chill. Question, what does that mean, a cold chill? Answer, kind of like a shiver begin to shake. As soon as he puts his hand down, I saw him give a quick shiver. Question, like a twitch almost? Answer, yes. Question, and he was standing or moving at the time? Answer, he was standing still. Hold on. Okay, question. He was standing still, so he moved to the end or past his vehicle and had stopped and was standing still when you saw him doing this. Now, I did not see him move as we discussed earlier. Question, right, I understand. Answer, but where I saw him, he was standing at the back of almost even with the back of the vehicle, maybe a little bit back, I'm not real sure, but I knew from my trunk to him, I had a clear sight of him, and I was trying to get to where I had some type of cover in case something did happen, so I was going to his vehicle. So question, an unreasonable inference, at some point before you looked over, he must have moved from the driver's seat of the vehicle to standing? Answer, that is correct. Question, okay, and what happened after? What statements did you hear Jeff say, if any? Answer, whenever I hear Sergeant Folsom asking him if he had a gun or why he had a gun or something to that effect, I turned, I saw the holster, and I heard him say, why do you have your gun, or something to that effect. Question, okay, let me stop you there. When Jeff said, like, why do you have your gun or something to that effect, what type of comment did you take? Did you hear that to be in terms of the characterization? Was it a smart aleck comment, obnoxious comment? Was it a threatening comment? Was it just a factual question? Answer, I took it as that's what he said. Question, did his statement escalate the threat level in your situation, in your opinion? Answer, absolutely. Question. In your training and experience, if someone has a gun, are you supposed to use verbal commands to try to take control of the situation? Answer, yes. Question. Okay, and are the verbal commands supposed to distract from the gun? Distract the person from the gun? Answer, I never heard that, no. Question. Okay, what type of verbal commands typically, or what is the purpose of verbal commands when someone has a firearm and you're trying to de-escalate the situation? Answer, trying to gain control of the situation. Question, and can you give me an example of the type of verbal commands you might give? Answer, well, I'll give you an example. Just a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week, we went to a house where with another officer referenced some horse abuse, and we went there and a 16-year-old girl came out of the house with a rifle, and we were in plain clothes, and of course I told her to put the gun down, highway patrol, and so she puts the gun down. So that's how I diffuse the situation, if that's how you're asking me. Question, sure. So using the actual word gun or drawing the person's attention to the gun in itself can be part of the verbal commands? Oh, absolutely. Answer, oh, absolutely. Question. And then after Jeff said, why do you have a gun, or words to that effect, what happened next? Answer, I think one of them said, I think it was Sergeant Folsom, said something about being authorized to have a gun. I think Winehouse replied, well, I'm authorized to have a gun too. And I think that's when maybe Sergeant Folsom was telling him to get on the ground. I was telling him to get on the ground also. Question, and that was to de-escalate the threat level? Answer, absolutely. Question, and in the course of this back and forth you just described to me, did Jeff take any actions at that point? Answer, I'm sorry. Question, what did he do? Did he walk anywhere? Did he do anything with his hands while this conversation was going on? Answer, well, it happened so fast it's almost like it happened all at the same time. Question, I understand that this is a very short period of time. Answer, and as soon as that little banner was done, or almost in the same little banner, he says, I'm telling him to get down on the ground, and I think I still walking toward him at that time, and I'm saying, get on the ground, or whatever I'm saying. He doesn't look at me. I don't think he ever even looked at me. Question, where was he looking? Answer, he was looking at Sergeant Folsom, so immediately I know he's out by himself. He has no cover. There's no immediate, there's a tree that's probably, guesstimate, probably 20 yards away. That's a good sized tree, but then there's some wooded area really far away, and he would have to either come back to the car or get to that tree and something like that. So I'm more concerned with him looking at Sergeant Folsom, and that's when he was telling him to get on the ground. He said, you're going to have to shoot me, man, or whatever, going to have to shoot me, whatever he said. Question, let me stop you right there. So you said whatever he said. Are you sure that he said you're going to have to shoot me? Answer, I'm positive he said you are going to have to shoot me. Question, could he have said, or you're going to have to kill me? Question, could he have said, you don't have to shoot me, or you don't have to kill me? Answer, no. Question, okay. Answer, absolutely not. Question, and when Sergeant Folsom ordered Jeff to get down on the ground, did Jeff take any actions in compliance with his order? Answer, absolutely not. Question, did he put his hands in the air? Answer, no, he did not. Question, so his right hand did not go into the air? Answer, no. Left hand did not go into the air? Answer, no. Question, did he turn his body left to right? Answer, no, he did not. Question, did he bend his knees or take any actions to lower himself? Answer, no, he did not. Question, okay, and what did he do? Answer, he reached under the flap of the holster. Question, okay, let me stop you there. When you say he reached, with which hand did he reach? Answer, with the right hand, I believe. Question, okay, and what was his left hand doing at the time? Answer, I don't recall. Question, okay, could it have been with the right hand? Answer, I just saw it was with the right hand. Question, oh, did you? Answer, yes. Question, okay. Answer, that he reached down with the right hand. Question, but could his left hand have been reaching out over toward his right hand? Answer, oh, absolutely. Question, but you're not sure. Answer, I'm not sure. Question, and when you say the right hand was, he reached under the holster. Answer, he reached under the flap of the holster. Question, okay. And did you see his hand touch the gun? Answer, yes. And then to correct something earlier, or to expound on something earlier, you asked me which way was the gun facing. It would have to have been facing, just out of my mind, it would have to have been facing with the butt of the gun to the right, because that's the hand he reached under and gripped the gun with. Question, and because you testified earlier the holster was on the right hand of his body, you could see his hand touching the butt of the gun or the grip of the gun? Answer, yeah, it was either the right or yeah. Now I'm actually kind of confused. I'm not sure if he reached up with the left or the right. Question, okay, but I know he reached to the gun. I'm almost positive it was the right though. Question, okay, and did you see, well, back up, did you see what angle was Jeff relative to you at this time? Answer, he would have probably been at on a clock as I'm facing. He would have been at my 1 o'clock position. Question, okay, and was he bladed towards you? Answer, no, he was bladed towards me. No, he was not bladed towards me. I could see his full side, his full left side and the front of him. Question, okay, and what was his stance at the time? Did he have his feet together, one in front of the other? Answer, I don't know. It would have been probably side by side, but not like, just like a regular person's stance. He was not standing in a runner stance or anything like that. I believe he was just standing square. Question, okay, and he didn't have 1 foot turned or 1 foot behind the other? Answer, I do not recall. Question, okay, so his hand goes down towards the gun, and what happened next? Answer, I heard Sergeant Folsom's firearm go off, and I had, question, okay, stop right there. Had Jeff actually pulled the gun out of his holster, or had he just put his hand to the gun? Answer, I believe he had just put his hand to the gun. He had gripped it, something to that effect, where there was a viable threat there. Question, okay, did you ever see the entirety of the gun pulled out by Jeff? Answer, no, I did not. Question, okay, do you, okay, and then you heard Sergeant Folsom fire, open fire? Answer, yes, I heard his gun go off. Question, and how many shots did he make? Do you remember? Answer, I know from the report, but I did not know at the time. I think it was 4. Question, okay, and what did you do? Answer, as I heard the shots go off, I was getting my sight picture. Question, okay, and mine were in between his, somewhere in there, so, and did you open fire? Answer, yes, I fired my firearm. Question, where did you aim? Answer, I aimed at Jeffrey Winehouse's head. Question, and what was your training, and what does your training teach you? Answer, head and chest to stop the threat. Question, cardiothoracic and brain, and where were you looking at Jeff's body, at the head? Answer, at the head. It was the biggest target I had at the time, and so I'd say that's probably why I went to there, would be my assumption, is why I went to that head, because he's bladed and he's a thin man. Question, so he's bladed? Answer, not bladed in a runner stance, but I'm looking at the side of him. Question, okay. Answer, he is not bladed to Sergeant Folsom. He is, his side is toward me, so I have a shorter view of him. I can see just the front part of him, but I can see his full side to include part of his back. So he's front on to Sergeant Folsom. Answer, yes. And your question, and you're seeing him more in profile almost? Answer, yes. Question, and so you open, what was beyond Jeff when you were firing at him in the back, sir, behind him, in the background of your shooting? Answer, in my sight picture or in Sergeant Folsom's? Question, in your sight picture. Answer, in my sight picture it would have been the side of the building partially. It was more of the side than it was the front. The front I could see the full front, but it was more on the side. Then there was some old gas pumps, looked like they had been cannibalized to repair other pumps. Looked like parts of that were missing, but that's what was to the side in my view past Mr. Winehouse. Question, and in fact, there were bullets later recovered from that building, weren't there? Answer, I think there was, for lack of better words, a divot in the building down low where it was when there was a bullet that had struck. I don't know if they ever recovered a bullet there or not. Question, were you concerned about flammable gas tanks being hit by your bullet? Answer, no, I was not. There was none there. Question, were you concerned that Sergeant Folsom's sight picture might have a gas tank? Answer, at that time I was not concerned about Sergeant Folsom's sight picture as I was mine. Question, and did you see Jeff's reaction once he was shot? Answer, yes. Question, okay, and what was it? Answer, I saw Sergeant Folsom. I saw his shirt, Jeffrey Winehouse's shirt move, so I knew Sergeant Folsom had hit him, and that was while I was also filing. Question, let me stop you right there. When you say moved, what do you mean, that his body turned left or right, or you just saw? Answer, no, I could see the shirt move. Question, a ripple in the shirt? Answer, a ripple for lack of a better word, sure. Question, and then what did Jeff's body do once he was shot? Answer, from his position, Where he was facing Sergeant Folsom, he turned 180 degrees and fell forward. Question, did he turn to his left counterclockwise or turn to his right clockwise? Answer, he would have turned to clockwise to his right, turn away from me. And question, so he had his back to you almost as he went down? Answer, well, no. Question, okay. Answer, he turned 180 degrees, so now I'm looking at his left side whenever he fell. Question, you mean his right side? Answer, I'm sorry, yes, his right side. Question, so he turned like this clockwise to his right, and that's when he went down? Answer, yes. Did he fall on his face, on his knees? Answer, he fell on his face. Question, and right after you shot him, but before he fell, where were his hands? Answer, down to his sides still. Question, down to his sides? Answer, well, down to his sides, down to the lower position. They weren't, I had lost sight of his hands whenever he turned away from me, so they were still down in the downward position, but they were on the side. I do not know they were still on the gun, because whenever Sergeant Folsom went to approach him, he told me he still had got his gun on the hands on the gun. Question, did he ever put his hands up in the air at any point? Answer, absolutely not. Question, oh, okay. Not to the left or to the right? Answer, no. Question, did you see Jeff's eyes at any point? Answer, can I go back to that question? I will say he never raised his hands in a motion to say I'm okay, I'm surrendering, or I'm okay. And now whether he was talking and moving his hands, I don't recall that, but he never motioned his hands in a way to say, okay, I'm complying with what you're saying. Question, okay, were you concerned about the roofers after the shooting? Answer, I was not concerned about the roofers after the shooting. Question, okay, were you concerned that Jeff might have backup, for lack of a better word, there might be arriving at the scene or hidden at the scene? Answer, I was aware of it, but I was not concerned with it because we had 2 FBI agents that were going to take care of that, and I put my trust in them to take care of that. And my focus was on Jeffrey Winehouse and getting him secured and covering him. And in fact, Sergeant Folsom secured him. Question, when he went down, were you concerned he might still be a threat? He, meaning Jeff? Of course, he still has the gun on him, yes. Question, and you observed Sergeant Folsom to take the gun from Jeff? Answer, yes. Question, okay, when Jeff fell, you testified he fell on his face downwards. What happened to his hands when he fell? Answer, they were still underneath him when he was laying there. They were underneath his front. He was laying on his front, and his hands are still underneath him. Question, so if this is the ground, he was sort of lying with his hands sort of underneath his body, not in view of you? Answer, yes, that is correct. And I had, at that point, I had a good view of his body at that point, except for it would have been the left side. Question, all right, and then this shooting was investigated by Sergeant Perry Smith? Answer, that is correct. Question, okay, and you were interviewed by Sergeant Perry Smith? Answer, yes. Question, and some of those interviews were recorded? Answer, that is correct. Question, and did you ever talk to Lieutenant George Knowles about the shooting? Answer, briefly. Question, okay, is Lieutenant Knowles your supervisor? Answer, he is my lieutenant, but Sergeant Folsom is my supervisor, so he would be the next person in line in my chain of command. Question, he's up the chain of command? Answer, yes. Question, did you ever talk to a lawyer named Anthony Laurimore about this shooting? Answer, not that I recall. Question, okay, he's a civil lawyer from St. Louis. I believe he was retained by the Winehouse family at one point. Answer, yeah, not that I recall. Question, you don't recall talking to him? Answer, no. Question, okay, have you ever shot anyone else before? Answer, no, I have not. Question, okay, I'm going to show you a couple of documents. We're going to mark this Exhibit 2, I guess. Or do you want to keep the numbers going up? The reporter, we can mark it as 5. Reporter marked defendant Exhibits 5. Question by Mr. Eastwood. So Exhibit 5, Mr. Parks kindly gave that to me today. Do you recognize the document, sir? Answer, yes, I do. Question, and what is it? Answer, it appears to be a written statement that I typed out. Question, okay, and did you review that in preparation for your deposition today? Answer, yes, but not this piece of paper you handed me. Question, okay, but the content you did review? Answer, yes. Question, and do you stand by the statement that you? Answer, other than how many times I shot? Question, fair enough. When was that statement drafted by you? Answer, that was drafted the morning afterwards prior to going into an interview with Sergeant Smith. Question, so the events were fresh in your mind, that's fair to say? Answer, yes. Question, and this was the first shooting you'd been involved in? Answer, that is correct. Question, if you could change anything in that report, would you? Answer, yes. Question, and what would that be? Answer, that I only fired once. Question, okay, and that was just an honest mistake? Answer, that was an honest mistake. I wasn't sure how many times I fired. And in fact, what I did was I took my magazine out and I looked at it, and there was only one round missing out of the magazine, but I forgot to account for it was an extended magazine that doesn't have, and I forgot to account for the rounds that were in the extended magazine wherever I looked. So, question, got it, okay, but other than that, you stand by the report. Answer, yes. Question, okay, and then you are familiar with this document when I submit to you as an interview summary prepared by Sergeant Bauer related, or is that Corporal Ashby? Answer, this is Corporal Ashby. Question, Corporal Ashby, excuse me, related to his interview with you, have you reviewed this document? Answer, no, I have not. Question, have you seen this before ever? Answer, yes, I have. Question, okay, but you didn't review it in preparation for your deposition today? Answer, no, I did not. Let me pause right here, and I would have drilled him more on his extended magazine and say, what about your extended magazine made you think you only shot one bullet? But he never dived into that. Question, do you believe that this document fairly and accurately reflects your statements to Corporal Ashby? And if you need to pursue it, please peruse it, please do. Answer, yeah, let me just look at it here real quick, okay? Question, so what do you think? Does Corporal Ashby fairly and accurately reflect your statements in this report? Answer, unless I am missing something, I believe so. Question, okay, well, are there any statements in... Hold on just one second. Are there any statements in here that you would have Corporal Ashby correct? Answer, from what I knew at the time, I don't think so. Question, okay, is there anything that you feel is being omitted here, particularly a glaring omission? Answer, no. Question, something that's needed to tell the story properly? Answer, no. Question, okay, I want to move on briefly to, we're almost done here. Question, I want to show you two things. One is an audio tape that I think you may have heard before. It's recorded by either Jeff and or his ex-wife Valerie Winehouse. And I'm not going to play the entire tape for you because it begins about 5 minutes before he gets to the scene. So obviously you have no knowledge of what he's saying or doing, but he's just driving around. So, but what I'm asking you to do is two things. One is to listen to this and tell me if it is fairly and accurately depicts the events as you recall them. And number two, I'm going to have a few questions. I'm going to have a few question statements in there. So I'm just going to fast forward if that's okay with you. Answer, that's video playing. Question, who is that? Answer, that would be Sergeant Folsom. Video playing. Question, so that's Jeff and Sergeant Folsom talking back and forth? Answer, that is correct. Video playing. Question, was that Sergeant Folsom ordering him down? Answer, yes. Video playing. Question, now what do you hear Jeff say? Answer, you're going to have to shoot me, man. Question, are you sure it couldn't be something else? Answer, I'm positive it's not anything else. Question, no doubt. Answer, no doubt. Video playing. Question, do you hear your voice at any point on that tape just now? I can replay it. I'm not just trying to. Answer, during the whole time you just played? Question, yes. Answer, yes, you can hear me telling him to get on the ground. Question, you're both telling him to get on the ground? Answer, yes. Question, who is saying government? Answer, that's Sergeant Folsom talking to the FBI agents that are coming across the parking lot. Video playing. Question, who said he's down? Answer, Sergeant Folsom. Video playing. Question, does down mean he's dead or just he's down? Answer, he's down. Basically, he's secure. Question, when Sergeant Folsom secured the gun in the holster from Winehouse when he was on the ground, what did he do with it once he secured it? Answer, he removed it from the waistband area and he tossed it back behind Winehouse's feet, and it landed on the ground behind Winehouse's feet. And once I saw that he was pulling his hands in, I saw the FBI agent taking cover. And that's when I left to call our Troop C headquarters for an ambulance and notified them of the situation. Question, was the gun securely in the holster at the time when he threw it away, or was the holster open? Answer, I think it was partially out of the holster whenever he threw it, or at least whenever I saw it on the ground, it was partially out of the holster, I believe. I'm not. Question, did you observe Sergeant Folsom close the holster before he tossed it? Answer, no, because I was standing over Winehouse watching him more than I was watching what Sergeant Folsom was doing. Question, were you secure in Winehouse? Answer, yes, I was. I was not secure in Winehouse. Sergeant Folsom was secure in Winehouse. I was providing cover where I could have been standing in case Winehouse were to, question, reach for the gun? Answer, reach for the gun or try to roll over on Sergeant Folsom and try to fight with him on the ground or anything like that. So we were taught in the academy that one person secures, one person provides cover. So that way if something does happen, you're not just both standing right there in the same spot or both kneeling down doing something and you have no cover. Question, did Sergeant Folsom roll Winehouse over? Answer, I can't remember if he did that or if I did that. Question, okay, but someone rolled Winehouse over. Answer, not for a while, not for a little while after, because we both thought he was dead. We both thought he had died, and he was laying on the ground with his handcuffs behind his back. And then I had left to call the ambulance. And then whenever I was coming back there in a short period, I saw him move, so I knew he was still alive. And I think that's when Lonnie Keithley, Corporal Lonnie Keithley, was pulling in or something. I'm not sure exactly how that happened. Question, so it was after that he was handcuffed, a while after he was cuffed, that he was rolled over. Answer, he could have rolled him up to check him, but I don't remember. Question, did he roll him over after he retrieved the firearm in the holster? Answer, we're taught to check them for further weapons, and I was at the car, so I don't know if he rolled him over or not. Question, but I thought you said you were covering him, so... Answer, I was covering him, but as soon as he got the gun out and I saw the FBI agent coming, that's when I left and I went back around the other side of Winehouse car to my car and used the radio to call. Question, okay, I understand better now. And he was rolled over once you went around the car? Answer, I don't remember. Question, okay, there's a statement on the tape. I'm going to fast forward. Is that okay? Answer, it's fine with me. It's about 7:46. Start about video playing. Question, what is 7-4? He's not, what is J4? He's not J4. What does that mean? Answer, he is not dead. Oh, J4 means dead? Answer, J4 means deceased or a fatality. Question, okay, and I realize I have not played this whole audio tape for you today, but the portions that I have played for you, you believe truthfully and accurately record the events? Answer, yes, it records what happens. Question, okay, and when I want to show you a video, this is a snippet, a critical snippet, but a snippet from the watch video. Answer, okay. Question, and I just want you to watch it and tell me if it as truthfully and accurately depicts the events or if you have the same objection or problem with the video. Okay. Answer, okay. Video playing. Question, is that you? Answer, yes, that is me. Question, so there you are, you just as you're saying, holding that gun. Answer, yes. Question, once you hear a gun, that's when you pulled your gun out? Answer, yes. Video playing. Question, and that's when he said, you're going to have to shoot me, man? Answer, yes. Question, okay, so that brief snippet there, about 12 seconds, that accurately reflects the shooting as you recall it? Answer, yes. Mr. Eastwood, okay, I have no further questions for you. The witness, thank you. Mr. Parks, do you wish to waive signature? The witness, that's fine. Mr. Parks, okay, we are done then. Mr. Eastwood, you're done. Thank you very much for your time today, sir. Signature of the witness waived by agreement of counsel and consent of the witness. Certificate, I, Jane M. Rich, a certified court reporter within and for the state of Missouri, license number 411, do hereby certify that pursuant to notice there came before me in the offense of Mr. Robert M. Parks, the 2nd Franklin County Prosecuting Attorney, 15 South Church, Room 204, Union, Missouri, Scott Mertens, who was first duly sworn to testify to the truth and nothing but the truth and all of all knowledge touching and concerning the matters in controversy in this cause, that the witness was thereupon examined and signature of the witness waived by agreement of counsel and consent of the witness, and that this deposition is true and accurate record of the testimony given by the witness. I further certify that I am not of counsel nor attorney for either of the parties to said suit, nor related nor interested in any of the parties or their attorneys. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand, this 11th day of July 2013, Jane M. Rich, CCR number 411.